we're gonna lose innocent people and some of my family is there. So like my brother and her daughter are there. They've gone for holiday and they're stuck there, and some of my family. So I'm confused at the same time. But I suppose you lose things to gain better things in life, and we had enough of Iranian government, I believe, and
When we say we, what's your personal?
like people, like I went after 18 years to Iran, and it was so a stressful experience I had. So, and there are a lot of things I don't want to talk about it, like some of my family can't go back to Iran. So in a way, yeah, I'm sure it's for better, but as I said, innocent people gonna suffer for this.
So, may I ask you a question, ma'am?
Yeah, sure.
Aren't they suffering now under this current regime?
Yeah, they are. But what I'm saying in a suffering way, like we're gonna lose people. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna die.
So what would your solution be? Keep this regime in power?
I'm not saying keep it. I'm just saying, do you see, like, it's a bit of confusion when you have loved ones there. Do you understand?
I do understand.
There's no empathy and no open mind.
All right, I've had enough of you. Go, just shut the fuck up. Excuse my language, man. But let me just say this. From the Iranians I've heard so far today, they're embracing this. They're loving this because they can see freedom coming down the road. Like Iran, Sarah right above you. She's an Iranian. She thinks this is great. I mean, I don't want to speak for Sarah, but she can speak for herself. But a lot of people are embracing this, the Iranian people.
Yeah, as I said, I hope so. I hope good things come out of it.
Ramita, do you feel that the people of Iran are going to take action after this, or do you think there's going to be changes?
I hope they do, and I hope there will be changes. I hope so.
So, part of what we're seeing, what I'm seeing in news reports, and look, you might be able to add some texture to this. Israel have made it clear to the people of Tehran, please get out, remove yourself from Tehran. The population of Tehran, I believe, is in the vicinity of about 10 million people. Do you have any insight in terms of what was happening on the grounds? Were people leaving? Have people left en masse? I've seen video footage. What's your experience? Has your family been in Tehran?
Oh, and she left.
I can take that question if you want.
Yeah, hold on. Let's go to Hooja. Go ahead, Hooja.
Around 6 million people have moved to the north of Iran, south of Caspian Sea. A lot of people that they have second homes there, or they have relatives that they already took shelter there. Many people are exiting, and nobody was leaving the capital because they knew and they trusted that the Israelis, they pinpoint the head of the regime and not civilians. But unfortunately, Trump asked them to leave, and they did take the order, and everybody left. 10 to 14 million people. Today I heard that if you hear one car on the road, that is one too many, because the regime has deployed everyone. They've taken over the city because they know when people come back, they cannot afford riots.
Yeah, from one intersection to another one, from one block to another block, there's police stations. It's insane.
Yeah, I've also, thanks, Hugh, I really appreciate that as well, Sarah. The banking system has been attacked. There's been two...
What is this? What is this?
Uh-oh.
Jay?
Somebody made a mess.
Uh-oh.
Jay, did the puppy get carpet?
No, the puppy decided to destroy his wee-wee pants. Sorry for being off mic.
I know that frustration anywhere, Jay.
That's beautiful, dude. Hugh or anybody else would like to respond to this?
So,
Given that hang on, thanks. Given there have been two of Iran's biggest banks that have been attacked and effectively closed for periods of time, do you know of any type of ongoing effect as a result of that? How that's affected? As well as that, been interruptions to gas supplies there as well.
Sure. I'm going to start with the banking system. The Iranian rial, or their dollar, their currency, is literally worthless. So if you want to buy a loaf of bread, you need 2 wheelbarrows of the paper money, which means nobody, like Canada or US, we cannot just grab $1,000 and run and sustain ourselves for a month or 2 weeks or whatever. So everything is the card in their pockets. They don't have international credit card, but they have bank cards. There's so many zeros that you can't even count them, but through the banking system, everything works. If they attack the banking system, the economy will collapse. People will not be able to get what they need, especially since they're not in their home. It's going to be really painful for a lot of people.
When do you think it feels like it's possibly inevitable that members of the IRGC themselves will revolt against the existing regime? Do you see that happening, number one? Number two, if you do, when do you see that potentially happening?
The son of the late king has indicated many times that people from the IRGC and the old military have reached out to him, high-ranking people. But that's his words. I don't know. But if that is to happen, I understand that there is a very good chance of a coup. But as long as they could outlive one president to the next one, they tried, but apparently they cannot mess with this president, and 3.5 years is too long for them to play.
This is the time of desperation. Okay, where the defences are down, banking system's been attacked, nuclear sites have gone effectively. If there is ever going to be a time, the time is right now. So I'd be keeping out, the ears down to the ground. It could be really interesting 24, 48 hours coming up. I don't know when, the Iranian people will take the opportunity, but I really hope that the time is now. And I hope that there's been some coordination in the back channels, for this day, not just about, striking the nuclear zones, but also trying to be able to make sure that there is going to be a follow-up from this regime and these activities take advantage of what's going on.
If you asked me 3 days ago, if there was a chance of uprising, I would have said absolutely yes. But currently, there's zero chance of uprising because President Trump did not talk to Netanyahu and then ordered the Iranian people to leave the capital. 10 million people left. There's a gridlock in the capital. They're breaking every second door down. They're trying to look for the mole, whoever is working with Mossad. Therefore, if the 10 million people come back, they are not able to do anything at this moment. It's unfortunately that call to leave the capital was ill-advised, whoever.
Anybody else who wants to chime in, they're very welcome to. Do you think the Ayatollah is going to stay?
100%. He will.
Well, I have a question. If the regime is replaced, is it going to be a democracy or is it going to be a king?
The regime is not going to go anywhere. So I
wonder what Trump wants out of this.
Let's say hello to Barbara. Hey, Barbara, how you doing? Barbara, you there? There you are.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Well, I'm in shock,
I think a lot of us are.
Yeah, I'm in shock. It's amazing. I don't even know what the words are. Honestly. And the ramifications.
Fordo, sorry to interrupt. Fordo nuclear facility was hit by multiple bunker busting bombs. Initial damage assessments indicate the facility has been, inverted commas, put out of action.
Sorry, could you, what, sorry? Put out of action? What, the nuclear?
Fordo.
Okay.
Yeah, we dropped 6 bunker busters and we fired 30 tomahawks, and yeah, game over.
Wow. I don't even know what to predict, you know? I just have to breathe and I don't know. Anyway, I'm listening.
Well, thank you, Barbara. By the way, Rohan, Roger, those bombs that we dropped, each one cost $500 million.
Are you serious?
And they weigh 30,000 pounds.
I knew that, but what? Wow.
Jamie, I heard it costed us $4 billion just to mobilize everything there.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that number, sir. I just know how much each bomb costs. So if we drop 6,
went up a significant amount.
I don't know. See, was I not talking? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. But all I know, Sarah, is each bomb was $500 million.
Jay, can I say something? Just really, really quick. How does this equate to our taxes going up? See? Okay, so I mean, people just make comments, and then when you're asked about it, you're just going to sit on silent.
You're going to stay on mute. National.
Right. I mean,
she'll feel attacked.
Roger, and this is where I ask people: does your ass get jealous of the shit that comes out of your mouth?
I don't think that.
No. But does your ass get jealous of the shit that comes out of your mouth? Like, where did you get to that wild leap that our taxes are going to go? You don't think that these things are budgeted? You don't think that these things are budgeted considering the amount of tax base and volume that we receive as a country? You don't think that these things are budgeted? And this is what I'm talking about. People need to think. Just because you have a mic and somebody invites you on stage doesn't mean you have to use your mouth to say something stupid.
So the celebration continues here in Healthy Debates on this glorious day. I would argue this is the third greatest day this century for the United States. So if anybody disagrees, come up and argue.
What's the other 2 days?
I disagree.
Well, hold on. The other day would be when number one is when Seth Rollins cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania 31. I was there to see him take the World Heavyweight Championship. That has to be number one. I'm ranking this number 3, and this day couldn't have happened if it wasn't for Election Day last November when Donald Trump was elected president. And now that he's signed off on this, I highly support the move to make him king until he dies. So I think we should amend the Constitution and make Trump king until he dies.
All hail King Donald.
We get an amen out of that as well. CBS reports the US has contacted Iran through diplomatic channels and informed that it is not part of a plan to overthrow the regime in Tehran.
Ari, who comes to these rooms from time to time and writes things in the chat, says, "Y'all are stupid as fuck. Isn't shit great about going to war?" Well, actually, I think what's great is to have such superior firepower that you can launch a couple of B-2s, drop 6 bombs, take out nuclear facilities, and then add in a sprinkle of 30 tomahawks and call it a day, and then be able to just mic drop. This is why the only expense that I don't complain about with tax dollars is the military. In fact, I would say if you wanted to shift some of that Medicare Social Security money into buying more bunker busters, I'm all for it.
Well, real quick. Roger, take a peek at the stage. We have one of the OGs from Healthy Debates in here, our military correspondent. Hey, Marvin.
Oh,
SEAL Team 6, baby.
Marvin,
Live from Iran, Tehran.
SEAL 2-6, baby.
Oh, mate, great to see you. Welcome back.
Hi, Rohan. Hi, Roger. Hi,
Lovely.
Hi, Jay.
What's up? Hey,
What's going on?
the big events bring out the heavy hitters. Marvin,
Boom. Great to see you. How was your reaction? What was your reaction to the news?
It was more of like a little bit of the electric pinch, like a little bit of shock. Like I was in the camp of it was going to happen. I had said it would happen on a Friday. You know, that's kind of how far I had gotten, but I was in the camp of it was definitely happening.
Well, Marvin, let me ask you, in all seriousness, first off, I'm glad you're here. I missed you, guy.
Thank you.
What do you think the blowback's going to be from Iran coming towards us?
Well, let me answer that this way. This isn't the start of a war, so let's just make that very clear. This is more of we're gonna make you say uncle, and if you're not gonna say uncle now, we have a few more moves in the wrestler chest that you know are here. And so, you know, with a war, and we had this discussion so many times, with a war there's a very clear measurable objectives, there's lines of delineation. This is more of, there's another agenda that we don't know about that has been communicated. And my belief that that agenda is about the change of the government. So the nuclear story is the cover story, but the positioning on the chessboard is, we're going to give you a chance to do it. We're going to give you a chance to resign with grace. But if you don't want to resign with grace, then it's going to be very painful for everybody. That's kind of how I feel. This is what this is about.
But let me ask you this, because I could talk to you about this all night, but I don't want to hog the room. But let me ask you this: let's say that that happens, right? They step down. Where do they go? They go to Russia?
Go China, Venezuela, somewhere. You know, they get the elegant. They get the red carpet treatment where they can go somewhere else and they'll be given a plane and they leave. If that hasn't happened already.
Iran State TV declares every American citizen and military personnel in the region is now a target.
So if the objective was completed, Marvin, shouldn't? I'm just playing devil's advocate.
If the what is depleted?
If the objective was completed, right?
What's the objective?
Wasn't the objective to take out the nuclear sites?
No, that's the excuse.
Okay.
That's the marketing material, right?
Marvin, the excuse to do what exactly instead?
Who's gonna?
Regime change.
From your mouth to God's ear.
No, listen, I'm not the first one to say that. This is all very well planned out.
Wait a second, Marvin. I was the first one to say it.
John. Look, given that you might be right with this, and I hope that you're right. I pray that you're right about this. Hoosier was pointing out something that was quite salient point. That there have been 6 million people, or thereabouts, that have been instructed to be able to leave Tehran, and the IRGC are out on the streets, going from house to house and protecting the actual state capital itself. How do you think it'll be possible for the people to be able to have an uprising when there are so many when there are so many factors that are working against them?
What I would say to you is, 2 years ago, a year ago, when we had this conversation on multiple fronts, did anyone, and I mean anyone on the planet, say to you, well, the way it's going to happen is they're going to smuggle in a shitload of technology, and they're going to put these drones in these vehicles and in backpacks, and somehow they're going to coordinate all of these people to release these drones simultaneously and have them autonomously attack certain locations. Did you think that was going to happen?
Oh, hell no. Look, I mean, from what I hear, that was...
And that's my point.
For 8 months in advance.
And that's my point. Right.
Can we be sure? I mean, can we be sure?
Ron, come on. There's
been planning in terms of a takeover.
Again, planning, the only reason why I'm saying this so confidently is the evidence is overwhelming. It's not even circumstantial. To carry out an operation of that complexity, basically, are we 3 years into the change of the civilian uprising? Are we in year 3 right now? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. The degree of complexity in a clandestine country under the thumb of a regime like them, and they still pulled it off.
So, I hope what you're saying is it comes to fruition. I don't see any other
general or strategist.
But there have been so many. Look, I'll just want to point out that something is glaringly obvious to myself. There have been very strategic, pinpoint accuracy-based attacks on individuals within the regime. Okay, multiple heads of departments and of the military have been taken out. There are whispers that, hey, look, we know where the Ayatollah is. Why wouldn't they have taken out the Ayatollah if that was the case? Cutting the head off the snake, cutting the head of the snake off would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it?
I mean, again, I don't think it's either here or there. I think you're. I think for some reason you want to feel read into the top secret plan to a degree that none of us are going to be read into. It doesn't matter. The evidence of what has occurred is screaming louder than any silence we've ever heard.
Exactly.
Hey, bro, I just want to say this real quick. As it relates to not hitting the Ayatollah, I think they don't want a power vacuum. I think they don't want the guy they don't want to make him a martyr. They don't want the guy that steps in to be worse than him. I think it makes perfect sense. If the Iranian people want to step up to the plate and, handle their business, God bless them. But right now, I agree with not, just... I'm sorry?
Look, I think both of us, neither of us, nobody has the actual answer to this, but if maybe just, rewind back a few months ago, Israel's attack on Hezbollah, for example, and also Hamas, their strategy was to be able to go after their heads. Okay, and when those heads of these particular departments would be replaced, they'd go after the replacements. They took out the top 3 leaders of Hamas. They've done the same thing with Hezbollah as well. So logically, it would seem logical to be able to do exactly the same thing when it comes to Iran.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I absolutely understand that logic, but I kind of think it doesn't necessarily apply in Iran. Iran is so big, so there's so much complexity in Iran. There's so many it kind of reminds me of Iraq. There's it could go in so many different directions, and Hamas, it's a small group of people. We're talking, 90 plus million people. It could go in so many different ways, man. So many different ethnicities jockeying for power. You just never know, what you would end up with, and at a certain, like, yeah, and also I'm not gonna just completely dismiss Iran. They have, you know, cells across the world, man. There's gonna be, this is not going to just, like, you know, be a one and done type thing. There's going to be ramifications and consequences. At least I think. I hope I'm wrong, but that's what I anticipate.
Let me jump in real quick. Thank you, Anthony. Hey, BP, how you doing? It's such an honor to have you on the stage. BP, are you there? David, mute up, please. BP.
Well, I couldn't get unmuted. Hey, JB, nice to meet you. I did hear earlier on the jab. Now the situation is too important and too exciting to talk about that, but buddy, you can't even take a compliment the right way.
Oh, well, because I'm dumb. I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a GED. But I'm gonna pass the mic to you, my esteemed friend.
Thank you, much appreciated. I have a question from Marvin. I know him from other rooms before, and I really appreciate and respect his position and insight. Marvin, although on the one hand this thing looks like a classic coup, like take out all the heads and then pave the way in multiple levels of military operation, but it's also very modern and, you know, almost like, you know, Star Trek, or what did I say to a friend of mine? This is like Terminator 2 level stuff that's happening in Iran with the Israeli operation. Now the one question is, or the one blind spot here is, with this much meticulous planning and precision, as much as these kinds of this kind of stuff is messy, they probably have worked out a replacement, haven't they? I think Marvin is on the phone.
It is quite.
I mean, you can't leave this to chance, you know.
Who's they?
Marvin, did you hear my question?
Yeah. Who's they?
Well, I mean, is it just Israelis or a combination of the Americans and the Israelis that they've planned this out? I mean, I think it's 90% Israel.
Sir, I don't understand. Ask the question again. Be very specific in the question.
Well, you said this thing has been planned out for regime change, correct?
Yeah, that's
now,
what I said.
if it's been, but with this level of meticulousness and precision, it's not just a matter of regime change. They've probably thought 5 other moves forward. Like, to replace this regime, there can't be a power vacuum in a country like Iran. I mean, you know all too well.
Okay. What's the question?
Well, do you think that they have planned out the replacement, and how do you think that's going to go?
You're asking, what you, for some reason you're afraid to ask, is you're asking, are they going to put someone that they know in power?
More or less, yes. But
well, am I saying more or is it less? Come on, just be specific. Just let's have a very specific conversation.
Okay. Here's the thing. What I'm really asking is, whatever they replace it with is going to be complicated because it's going to look like an installed puppet, whatever. And given the historic background over the last, 67 years in Iran, the popular action to it has to be taken into consideration in this equation so that it'll go smoothly, it'll lead to a peaceful, democratic Iran that can live.
Let me stop you there. You're going too far.
Sure.
So, I'm going to correct your understanding of what I said.
Sure.
I did not say that they were going to put in the changed regime. What I said is
I didn't hear that.
Okay, yeah. What I said that they're doing it for regime change. Now, how that regime change happens is still a big question. Now, I'm going to make the assumption, based upon reading the tea leaves for the past 3 years, that there has been enough, again, if you are able to get into the country the level of sophistication of technology and the display of a coordination that was never believed possible, then you have to accept the things that are of lesser objectives. Smuggling weapons, coordinating cells, having a dual agent or agents within the high ranks. Right? All these things that are easier than what we saw happen, I will say must be true.
Correct. And it also follows that if it's been worked up to this level of detail and this level of efficiency and effectiveness, I'm saying it follows that the next few moves, such as a replacement for this regime, and I'm asking you that.
I think.
Let me ask my question more concisely. You're challenging me to be concise and precise.
Not the first one.
You've brought it this far that this thing is focused at regime change, and the nuclear thing was just the right excuse and the optics and whatever for CNN.
Right.
I'm asking if it's been worked out this far. Do you think that it is probably worked out beyond that, or do you think that's as far as it goes?
I believe that there is a series of events that are going to be up to the Iranian regime that will then determine the type of events and who will be the replacements moving forward. I believe that there's a package that is being presented to the Iranian regime. And maybe that package isn't being presented in detail. Maybe it's being presented in a, look, we're going to give you an off-ramp right now. Take it or leave it. Okay, you're not going to take it? Great, we're going to move to package A. And there's packages B, C, and D. In one of those packages, right, there is going to be these words that we know well that may or may not determine, is it going to be, what is Pahlavi's role, if any, right? What is the, what's her name, the flower girl? I can't draw her. Masi. Alinejad, right? Is that how you say it? Yeah. What's her role, right? What is the diaspora's role? Is the solution going to be to create a situation where the diaspora is able to return safely to Iran as members of an Iranian government, or meaning that they have the freedom to come and go? I mean, the freedomness, right? That's what everybody wants. And if they feel free and safe, do they go back and do they start that movement of creating the government and allowing them to decide, right? So when you ask the question, like, who's it going to be? Do they have it all planned out? I would say that they don't have. It's not. They're not saying, "Hey, Marvin Alvarez, you're going to be the president," right? They're not going to that degree. But what they are doing is they have been solicited by various individuals and movements, providing them with, look, here's what we want. Okay, you got your Baha'is and they're organized and they want this. Then you have the Islamists in Iran and they have this and they want that. Then you have I'm just making this up, the Ba'ath Party and the Republicans and the liberal, right? They have all these people that are coming to them because that's what people do. So, I'm probably going a little bit too far in my description because I hadn't been asked that question, but
I think you are, yeah.
But I do believe that there is some type of system that somebody felt confident with saying the following: oh, you know what? This is looking good. We should take care of this now. And I believe that the taking care part of it now is so evident that it's going to allow the system to start executing itself.
Can I pitch in for a second and just let you know that the system has already failed before? So if you remember, there was a campaign against Putin So they tried to change the regime of Putin, and America lost that war. They gave up.
Wait. When you say against Putin?
Yes, and it was like a proxy war. You know, Ukraine.
Wait. What specifically? Which war? When was was Putin in Iran? Was Putin in Iran?
No, it's not Iran. Now, this is a whole different game, man. Like, you don't understand that Iran has the technology to actually bomb America.
Yeah, but I'm not. Wait, hold on. I want to correct you a little bit. I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. I wasn't talking about Putin or Russia. I was talking about Iran. Is that what you're talking about?
You said changing the regime, so they're trying to change, like you said, there's a system, there's a process, and eventually the regime in Iran will be changed. But I'm saying that America has already tried that before with someone else other than Iran, and it was like a mission unsuccessful. And
I think you're confusing what's happening now with some history that you've read somewhere else.
King, did you say that Iran has the capability of striking America?
Of course they do. They already have.
They're selling like rocket technology and drones to Russia and the Russian war, and they're very advanced. So this is not Iran from like 20 years ago. This is not like easy fight. If you go, I don't know, man. I'm a little bit scared.
Wait, hold on. Why do you think it's a tough fight? What? Because they built drones that they've sent to Russia.
No.
Hold on. I want to get specific. So when you were asked about technology that could hit the U.S., you said, "Oh, this is not the Iran of 20 years ago. They're very advanced." And then you said something about drones being given to Russia. Russia can't even fucking defeat Ukraine. The problem is this: you're overestimating Iran, and honestly, I think the next
Ukraine defeated.
What's that?
Isn't Ukraine defeated?
You think Ukraine's defeated?
Oh my gosh! Can we move on? Can we move on?
Yeah. We're gonna have to move on.
You need a timeout. That guy needs a timeout.
Yeah, we're gonna have to move on to intelligent people that understand logic. If anybody else wants to go ahead.
Yeah.
But King, you're a fucking retard.
If I can say just one thing
Gibby, go ahead.
Just one thing is that, like, there's official statistics on the all the Iranian missiles, and you got the Khorram Shah, which is the most advanced, the one they got, and it goes up to 2,000 kilometers, which is nowhere close to reach the U.S. soil. So nothing to worry.
Look, they can barely put a scratch on Israel. So come on, let's have a real conversation.
They could barely put a scratch on Israel? Are you serious, Marvin?
Sorry, did I stutter? Or did you not understand what I said?
You're spreading a bunch of misinformation. Have you seen how Tel Aviv looks lately? You want me to put the links in the chat?
Yeah, that's a scratch. Yeah.
You said it could barely put a scratch.
Yeah. Look, okay. Look, let's. You want to sit down and talk about numbers?
I would love to debate you.
There's not a debate. I'm not debating. Could someone just throw a number around of how many munitions have been sent to Israel from the start?
I mean, do you have any idea how many people have been killed in Israel over the last 19 months from rockets that have been fired?
Well, hold on. Let's get more specific, because Amir wants a debate. So Amir, we're going to grant you your wish, even though you're not qualified to debate anything with anyone. We're going to give you your wish, and we're going to let you.
Who are you to make that determination whether I'm qualified or not?
Listen, I'm your fucking father in this conversation.
Yes, I wish. In your dream.
So let me just look. I'm going to give you an opportunity, and if you don't want to take it, you could run from the fight. But I'm going to give you an opportunity here. How many rockets were launched at Israel from Iran? How many? You're not very good at this, are you?
Can you hear me?
No, I couldn't.
Okay, I don't know. I have no idea.
There you go. Boom.
Hold on. One point for Mojo. Okay, how many rockets have landed in Israel?
Enough to cause so much destruction.
No, how many? Put a number on it.
I don't know.
Okay, 2 points for Mojo.
And let me ask you this: whose regime is under threat of being replaced, Iran or Israel?
Who told you Iran's regime is about to get replaced, though? Where did you get that from?
I feel like, remember Epic Man?
Can I just say that? Look, I gave this guy softballs. I'm 3-0. Look, you could go argue with someone else. Work your way back up. When you get back to the final boss, we can have a conversation.
Wait a second. Amir, where are you based out of? Amir?
He's Iranian. You gotta be kind of.
I can't hear more than one person at a time. Say that again, Amir?
I don't answer personal questions, JB. I'm sorry.
That's definitely Canada, JB. Definitely all Iran.
Givy, does he sound like he's a pro-regime guy?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm interrupting. Yes.
Wait, hold on one second. Hold on a second. It doesn't matter where he's at. What does matter is that he's proven that he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And if we want to speculate on things rather than his location, we should speculate what his preference is sexually. Is it sheep or is it goat?
Always goats. Is that why your room is called Healthy Debates? Is that how you protect your audience for freedom of speech?
Wait, you need protection? You were the one that wanted to have the debate. I can't control what these grown men say to you. Put your big boy pants on.
I mean, protection. Are you wearing condoms before you slide it up in the goat? I'm just, you want to talk about protection. Are you wearing condoms when you slide up in the goat? We're just asking. You know, and to be honest with you, you got the fair smoke, considering that, again, you're dumb as a box of rocks. Your opinion is useless as...
Hold on. Amir, I'm gonna be hold on, David. Please mute up. Thank you. Amir, respectfully, they actually use kid gloves on you. You're lucky that they didn't come with you with the big boy gloves.
I don't mean to...
Marjo, I think it's the mule. I think you're wrong with...
I don't mean to interrupt the fun, but are we gonna play the Trump press conference? I don't know, bro. Are you there? Are you able to do that or no?
Yeah, I'll get onto it right away here.
Okay, it's in 15 minutes. Just give me
a 15 minutes, yeah.
Carry on, guys.
Yeah, let's continue the conversation of Amir likes mules, goats, or ducks.
Please, can we just talk to real people?
I don't think
I don't like playing with children.
I would
Hold on a second, gentlemen. Wait, BP. I know you live in an ivory tower and you get to speak when you want, but Givy was talking first.
Yeah, I was just want to ask a question about the whole thing with the regime change. What do you think? What's your guys' thoughts on what was published earlier by CBS and some other media outlets that U.S. apparently let Iran know that their only goal is to take care of the nuclear facilities, and the U.S. is not interested in toppling the regime?
Israel is interested. Israel.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Israel already said it's doing it, and people of Iran have to finish it. And Israel has shown that it's been doing it. The day before, Trump asked Iranians to empty Tehran, Israel actually targeted all their detention centers. These are places that every time people uprise, where they take them, they arrest them, they take them, they torture them. So most of those places, a lot of them, they've already been destroyed. So they don't have detention centers. A few years back when people uprised, they got on their choppers and went in the streets and shot people in the head. I know it sounds crazy and unbelievable, but this is a real story.
That's a big lie. That never happened.
No, it's not. They killed people. Shut the fuck up.
They killed a Moss. Control your
Put the link to it. Put the link in the chat.
Control your fucking emotions. Amir, how do you want a link? Find me a link of North Korea doing wrong by its people. Shut the fuck up.
You're the one claiming it. Why should I put the link up?
It's a fucking dictatorship. Of course they're not gonna
Amir,
Amir, shut the fuck up. Amir!
You see how these guys talk?
Shut up!
Everybody's hearing them.
Amir,
I was the one talking. You shut the fuck up. Anyways, those choppers, they're gone. Right? And then the day after that, what Israel did was they hit their what is it called, the broadcast news channel, which is like pretty much they've been doing really good. They've been taking places out, and I don't know how this regime is going to go, but that is the goal of Israel. And Netanyahu has said many times that they're going to help free Iran.
Yeah, I got a question to the moderators.
I mean, have you used your tampon? Because you're going to start bleeding.
It's perfect. When you guys talk like that, everybody's going to know who you are. So I'm not even going to...
Listen, that's only Muslim style. That woman can't talk like anything, you know? But let's go.
Who told you I was a Muslim?
No.
Listen, Amir, we can hear the fact that you're so inbred to the fact that your IQ is in the negatives. Okay, you are that lip-hanging dumb. You are dumb as a box of rocks. Your opinions are literally as useless as tits on a nun. You are that dumb. Plum loco dumb.
I got a question to the moderators. Hey, is anybody gonna stream Daddy talking in about 10 months? 10?
Yeah, I'll go to that.
Okay, cool.
We're working on that. We're trying to
stream it to the room.
Trying to get Daddy up there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm here.
Right, and then the disrespectful part, we have Maz. Like, we have Maz sitting up in here rubbernecking with Sarah. Like, what the fuck is going on, bro?
Can I
What the fuck is going on? No. What the fuck is going on? Like, you want to talk about resistance? Your hairline looks like it's resisting from your forehead. You look like the Persian version of the remake of Coneheads. Like, don't you ever come after Sarah like...
I was going to step in, I know. Yeah.
Amir, genuinely speaking, like, why would you leave the country if you love the regime so much? Why did your family flee to Canada or wherever you guys live?
You know what your problem is? You cannot pick one person to debate me. That's why 50 people have to attack me.
I genuinely asked you a genuine question. Why did you...
Alright, I'm done talking to him. I want to talk about what's going on, not him. So...
Can I just say something?
Thank you for having the voice of reason, Marvin. Well, I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, why don't we talk about what's going on? Thank you.
Where were we? We were talking about regime change. And one of the things that we have to remember is that this is first strike from the U.S., which is the beginning of our campaign. This is not the middle. This is not the end. This is the beginning of the course of action. 5381 Middle East, Iran / Israel cooperative, free the lion type thing. So let's not get all, let's not call the game on the first home run hit in the first inning. There's a lot that needs to be unpacked. There's a lot that's going to happen in the next, days to come.
Hey, Marvin, did you mention what you think is a replacement for the regime? I forget if you mentioned that.
I did mention that.
Oh, you already did? Okay,
yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
I mean, is it like any particular person, or I didn't hear it?
No, it was a system.
I mean, I think the attack was needed. I think, there's only a diplomatic and military solution if you want to, or a military solution if you want to take out a regime from attaining 1940s technology. So I applaud the strike. I think it was
sorry to interrupt for just half a second. Netanyahu's just made an address, and I'm just going to play it. It's a recording, but here we go.
We can't hear it really well.
Marvin, can I say a couple things real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think, this is interesting. I was talking about it on another platform, and it was more mayhem than was here just a few minutes ago. So one of the things that it seems to be pretty clear as far as the timeline thus far is that this was obviously something that was initiated as a preemptive strike by Israel. There was the back and forth with the bombs being thrown around and destructions of certain aerial what do you call the missile systems to protect the whatever Iron Dome, whatever those systems. They had to destroy those. They had drones put in place. This back and forth, this initiation was with the pretext that this was to address something that was imminently occurring, this development of a nuclear program, and that they were very close to coming to developing a nuclear warhead, which is, by the way, something that Bibi had claimed on two separate occasions, one being 12 years ago and one being, I think, 13, 14 years ago. It was 2008. It was basically Bush 2 and during Obama, each of which, in those administrations, the Israeli regime, whoever it was at the time, I think it was Bibi, so couldn't convince the U.S. to get involved. And here we have a situation that immediately was following the negotiations for the nuclear deal, and now is there was prompting by and outreach by Israel to sort of bring the United States in, and then we get to this point where the United States says, yes, or Trump says, let me think about it, even though he told everybody to evacuate. Let me think about it, give me a couple weeks, and I'll make a decision. Of course, a few days later, we have this now. Now, here's my question. As we look at overall objectives, right? And we're talking about potential, people are talking, throwing things around like regime change and all this. Putting a few bombs, as significant as they are, and dropping them at strategically selected locations, obviously, ostensibly for those nuclear program sites, that's not necessarily an initiation of regime change. That is basically saying, okay, we're going to follow through with what we kind of threatened, and also what we, being Trump, is doing to support what Bibi's claims were about addressing these nuclear sites. As far as we know, we don't know of any response that's planned or will come, and what kind of significance it will be, right? But I think at some point we need to start talking about what is the overall objective of the United States at this point? Because if there's a response, which is not bombs being sent to New York, obviously, we're talking about maybe some military bases.
To be able to get to the point, we've literally got 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure. So obviously they're going to be looking at some military sites. What is this? What is the overall objective? Do you think it's actually a regime change? Do you think that's what Trump was thinking? Thank you.
You missed my statement on this already, but everything that you just described to me is a marketing effort to package regime change. That's where I stand.
Okay, yeah.
Interesting. All right, guys, listen, we got to make our shares very short and concise, because Trump's going to speak in 2.5.
Yeah, I don't even understand what you mean by what the objective was. The objective was clearly to disable Iran's capability to get nuclear weapons. Why are you speculating about regime change?
Because I believe that you believe what you're being told. I don't believe that.
Well, what do you mean you don't believe that? Where were the bombs dropped? The bombs were dropped.
No. You're conflating things. What you said was you believe that it was about Iranian sites or Iranian nuclear sites.
Right.
Yeah. I'm saying that it's not.
What do you mean?
I'm saying that.
What do you mean? Trump literally tweeted, "Yo, Hamedi."
Listen, I know. Listen again. I think you have a misunderstanding. I'm being very clear. I don't care that he said what he said. I don't care that he did what he did. That is a tactician. That is a tactical element. That has nothing to do with the overall center of gravity of this entire effort.
The center of gravity is that Iran can have nuclear weapons. This is just
okay, that's your opinion.
And
I don't agree with
what you said, Marvin. To support what you said, Marvin, one of the things that Bibi was saying, as they were taking on to going and initiating this preemptive strike and throwing the bombs over to various locations and cities and whatnot, he did talk about regime change before he started this communication and outreach to Trump to say, you know what, we're gonna need you to finish the job, and so he did talk about that. It wasn't like this is completely coming out of the blue.
Iran, it's like Israel wants regime change. I think a lot of people want regime change, but
Correct.
the U.S.'s involvement with the B-2 bombers is to take out Iran's nuclear capabilities.
Right, and again, I think I'm going to make an assumption here that your military strategy experience is probably zero.
Wow. Well, such
is it or not?
Go ahead.
No, I'm not. That's not a subjective opinion or color against you. I'm just trying to find out the facts.
I mean, whether it's 0 or 100.
Did you ever serve in the military Did you ever serve in the military in forward ops or future ops and planning out missions?
Okay, I haven't served in the military. And what's your point?
Did you serve in the 3 shop? Did you serve?
So did you serve? So if you did, how's your point better than my point in this case?
Well, there's no confusion here. Okay, it's very simple. Okay.
Okay. Why you bringing up military background?
Because I'm trying to understand your point of view and how you created your opinion. I'm trying to understand your.
My point clearly.
No. I'm trying to understand how you look. Do you want to have this conversation or not?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So, did you serve in the military?
That objection. Who's the judge here? Relevance. Relevant.
Okay. I'm not playing tonight. So anyway.
Well, hold on. Let me answer his question about the relevance here. He's appealing to the judge.
I don't want to waste my time. I want to have a conversation about what's going on and about
we will. But
people that can't answer straightforward questions.
Right, but I want to make this point though. When you were asking him about what his military experience is, the fact that he has none, he's saying that it's irrelevant. I would argue that those that do have military experience, specifically as it pertains to these types of operations, I think we should listen to them a little bit more than just the conjecture of idiot.
But we shouldn't get sensitive.
Can I offer something in between? Can I offer something in between?
No, please stand down, sir. Let Afani speak for himself.
So I'm just saying we shouldn't get sensitive about this. This is a topic that's debated openly, not just by military folks, but by congressmen. This is something that's an open debate. So I don't know why, instead of debating on the facts, you're trying to attack me.
No, I'm not trying to. No, I'm not saying that your opinion isn't.
Okay.
The reason. I'll be straight with you. If you want to be an adult and have a very point-to-point conversation, you're welcome. If you want to run around and avoid questions, then you're not welcome. That's what's going on here.
I just challenge your line of questioning. This has to
No. Listen. I'm being very black and white. And if you want to keep playing this game, I'm going to push you down again.
Sure,
drops at the podium. Go ahead.
Somebody else. Go ahead.
Rohan, you gonna play this, Rohan?
You want to play it?
Yes, fine. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success.
Yeah, you muted up, bro. Oh, sorry, somebody muted me. Did you guys want me to play it or not?
State sponsor of terror. Tonight I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There's never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's nuts. Absolutely crazy. Nuts. It's so crazy that he can even say that. You guys heard all of that, right? It's not just me. I'm not just tripping. Wasn't that crazy?
What's your issue specifically, brother?
My issue is like the fact that just before the speech, we were having a debate on what the purpose of the strikes were. I mean, he's telling you literally what the purpose was, and the level at which he was saying it is. I mean, he said no military in the world could accomplish, because these are, bombers that fly at really high altitudes. Right? The fact that we're able to hit their target and completely destroy those facilities, I think, is just incredible, actually.
Well, I think this is what is a good example of, you misunderstanding what he was saying. And this is why.
What do you mean? I'm
gonna tell you right. I'll tell you right now what I mean. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I mean.
Just pause for a second. We're going to continue having a one mic policy here, okay?
So I'm gonna tell you exactly what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Everything he said, and everybody heard it, that he wants peace, and if the peace doesn't come, this will continue. He didn't say. That whole speech wasn't about, we had 3 targets and we took them out and now everything's done. End state has been achieved. Everybody go home. Thank you and good night. This isn't about nuclear sites. And he was very clear about that. And again, the packaging of the messaging has to be one that's digestible by the majority of the population, which is people understand, oh, nuclear site, target, done. Yes. But that's not what he said.
Bro, I thought you said that that's what he said. I thought you said that he wants peace.
There's a difference between peace and 3 nuclear sites. And the difference is a solar system away. There is a chasm between nuclear targets and peace.
Yeah. The chasm is the past 40 years of Iran being a state sponsor of terrorism. The fact that Iran has been a source of instability in the region while their neighbors build skyscrapers, they suppress their people. and funded terrorism around the world, and you're saying that we should just stand by and allow that regime to build nuclear weapons and bunkers.
That's not why I never said that.
Okay, then and that's the chasm. That's the point that you're.
No, you're not understanding. You're not understanding. Let me break it down more. Okay, what I said originally is the whole purpose of the 3 sites was to give them permission to bomb. It was an excuse to bomb because what they want is regime change. And that is what
it was a reason to bomb. Exactly. You're absolutely right. Because if they didn't have nuclear weapons, if there weren't developing nuclear weapons,
no. It could have been. It could have been tank manufacturing plants. It could have been anything. Didn't matter.
Israel took care of those with their precision strikes. They took care of the surface enrichment facilities. Fertile is underground, and only America has the B-2 bombers that can deliver.
You're okay. We're never gonna see it. I think.
What do you mean? That's the raw fact of that's literally the.
I'm not saying it isn't. I'm not saying it. But again, the strike was the excuse. What they want is regime change. I don't think you agree with that.
That's what everybody wants. But if they
I'm saying
would have struck the Supreme Leader.
No, they wouldn't have. That's again. Now you're talking about strategy in order to accomplish the mission.
Bro. This just gets.
What I'm going to do is I've got a quick speech that Netanyahu has made. It goes for about a minute and a half. You can listen to that audio as well.
Congratulations, President Trump. Your bold decision to target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history. In Operation Rising Lion, Israel has done truly amazing things. But in tonight's action against Iran's nuclear facilities, America has been truly unsurpassed. It has done what no other country on earth could do. History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime, the world's most dangerous weapons. His leadership today has created a pivot of history that can help lead the Middle East and beyond to a future of prosperity and peace. President Trump and I often say, peace through strength. First comes strength, then comes peace. And tonight, President Trump and the United States acted with a lot of speed. President Trump, I thank you. The people of Israel thank you. The forces of civilization thank you. God bless America. God bless Israel. And may God bless our unshakable alliance, our unbreakable faith. Congratulations, President Trump.
There you go. The message is universal.
Like seriously, I don't even know why Marvin wants to be. It's like Claire. Why you choosing not to even recognize it? It's like
what is the it? What is the it in that statement?
Jesus. Don't you have ears? Are your ears?
What is the it in that statement? You said you can recognize it. What is the it?
Dude.
I guess you get scared when you don't want to answer a question. It's just you. Yeah, it is just you.
Look, Marvin, if it's just me, then it means people in this room are not very bright. But I'm not. I'm sure.
No, it just means you're not very bright.
Dude, Marvin, you're exposing yourself right now. Like
to what? What am I exposing?
Just your level of understanding of the world. Like,
look, let me help you understand something. The majority of people in this room know me and know my background. Okay, you're the outlier here.
And we're debating based on this is the actual conversation.
No, but you won't even answer questions.
After, doesn't matter. You're present.
Deflect.
Debate of ideas, Marvin.
Deflect.
Talk about the facts here, Marvin.
Deflect.
Like they're trying to tell me, people know you in your past.
No, you still get. Let me.
We're talking about we're having a
ranch topic.
World issues. Marvin.
You know, my cousin, he's a pretty nice guy too.
Cool. But anyways, I think I've spoken to.
You know, one of the few things that within the two speeches that I heard, I thought it was interesting. First of all, the fact that Trump was able to contain himself to speak for such a short period of time, especially when he's had such a victory. That was something that surprised me. The messaging was connected. Both Trump and Netanyahu were talking about how strong the ties between Israel and America are. And I recall, through a number of times, people said, "Oh, yeah, look at America. It's got no interest, and Trump's turning his back on Israel, and blah 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 blah." It's like it would seem by the messaging that it's very very clear they are both intrinsically connected in terms of their values, in terms of their some of their ideologies, and wanting the same thing, and that is peace. The word peace is mentioned.
Well, yeah, but Rohan, I mean, look. The word peace is a lovely word that you tell your friends and you use it in colorful movies, right?
Yeah.
When we talk about what's going on, there is very clear, precise, desired end state.
Yeah.
That Israel and Trump equate to peace, and that equals regime change.
No, it equals Iran.
And Trump made it very clear.
No, it doesn't. No, okay, that's what. Then now we know. Now we know where our difference is. You believe it's not having nuclear weapons. I believe it's regime change. Okay, let's debate that. That's a good debate.
Those two things can be the same thing. Yeah.
Can I say something?
Sure.
First, hello, how y'all doing? All right. So I feel like there's no peace in war, and Trump is kind of like being a hypocrite. And honestly, no matter how powerful we are, I'm still scared because why in my adulthood are we going to war? Like,
we're not going to war yet. We're not going to war yet.
Well, we just bombed Iran.
Yeah, but that's not war. Bombing Iran is not war. Yeah, that's not war.
It starts a war, sir.
Well, no, that doesn't. It doesn't.
So what starts a war?
A declaration of war. That's what starts a war.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
I'm a little ignorant.
That's
United States of America
let's park that.
War on Iran.
Let's park that for a second because it's part of the conversation. It is part of the conversation, but I think we need to focus on what we finally came to, what I think is a very healthy debate, which is the current effort in the Middle East, is the desired end state the destruction of nuclear technology, or is it regime change? I think that is probably the best model that we should be debating right now.
It's a genocide.
Hey, Marvin, did you hear President Trump just come out and say, "Oh,
wait,
hey, we go to
Richie, hold on a second.
I'm sorry, can I say something? I'm waiting for like more than half an hour.
Wait a second. You don't hear my voice? Thank you. I wasn't talking to you, Rohan.
Y'all spicy.
Yeah, welcome to Healthy Debates. But the term that we just throw around, genocide. How the fuck is this a genocide?
It's a genocide in Gaza. That's what I mean.
JV.
Yes, the last time.
Wait, hold on.
I can't do that right now.
Did someone move her?
Yeah, I did.
No. Let's bring her up.
No. Let's not. I don't have time.
I said yes. Let's do that. Let's bring her up. Let's bring her up. Look, people are allowed to be stupid. That's not a reason to move.
Why do you want to waste time?
Well, because I have plenty of it. Listen. If you haven't figured out what Clubhouse is for, think of it this way: we're the cats, and then the mice get up here, and then we get to play with them a little bit. And we had somebody that said something really stupid, and what we should do, rather than move them, is just get inquisitive and ask a couple of questions. So I would like to bring this stupid woman back up to the stage.
She's back on stage.
You know, I broke my nail the other day. That was a genocide.
Disrespectful.
All right, you got the microphone. So what are you waiting for? Let's hear it.
All right. First of all, a lot of you are faggots, for one, and for
Sorry, that was a mistake.
gay ass fucking crackers. Goodbye.
Oh, what a surprise. Okay, back to desired end state.
Didn't invite her up saying like this dumb woman would expect I'm gay. It's like
So Marvin, did Donald Trump talk about the 1,000 people who've died at the hands of the Iranian mullahs?
Look, I don't know. I want to go back to what I want to hear out of everybody's mouth right now is, do they think it's going to be enough to remove the nuclear whatever they did today? Because I can tell you right now, nope, that's not what happened today. Okay? Or is it about regime change, which hasn't happened either, and is very far off still?
So the thing that happened didn't happen, but the thing that hasn't happened is happening. Like, it can make sense. Like, Mark,
Sure. Let me help you make that sense. There's been plenty of bombing over the past week, right? What happens when this type of bombing occurs is there is a messaging that's put out to the world that says, hey, here's what we're going to do. When in reality, there is a very long list of targeting of targets that have been identified, right? There's a targeting desk, and the targeting desk is given orders to, hey, take out targets, 1 through 12, and then 21, 22, and 23.
Yeah.
And those targets may have nothing to do with nuclear technology.
It has to do with the regime. That's also happening.
No, I'm not saying it has to. I'm not saying that either. It could be a variety of things.
Like, the entire top level of Iran's military was executed.
Yeah,
that had deep ties with the regime.
No one's debating that. Please.
Yeah, so regime change is also like sabotage. Subversion is happening at multiple levels in Iran right now, orchestrated by Israel, because they're trying to achieve an objective. Overarching motivation is that.
Wait, how is regime change?
Right, exactly.
You're saying a lot of different things there. I'm not sure what you're saying, but I think you're agreeing with me then.
I'm agreeing with you. Here's what I'm saying. Like, 1979, something happened in Iran. Iran used to be a freer country. Like, it became.
Okay, I don't want to hear a history lesson. We all know that. Tell me what's happening now. Tell me about right now.
Since then, they've been screaming death to Israel.
We know all this. Please.
Exactly. That same regime is about to get a nuclear weapon. Because they were shooting ballistic missiles. Those ballistic missiles could literally be.
Roger, I'm gonna go. I can't do this.
Wait, Marvin, hold on.
It was nice. It was nice.
Wait, Ifeani, man, hold on.
I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to have.
Marvin, just wait a few minutes because somebody wants to come see you. It's a special guest.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I was talking over you.
No, you weren't. It's just that I can't do it.
So Marvin, Trump said that they destroyed the nuclear plants, but I think that a lot of people are missing that. As far as I know, there are like 450 kilograms of already enriched material that no one really knows where they are, right?
Right. Sure. Exactly.
So that's like threat that always remains. Even like yes, they cannot make any new ones, they cannot make more, but we don't have traces of this.
It's so complicated. I'm not even worried about that. It's so complicated to build the precision.
Weaponize it?
Yeah.
Weaponize it? Yeah, but they can sell it. They can transfer it to somewhere else. Yeah, I mean, it's just like a risk of like.
But it's also it's highly detectable. Somebody said in the chat like, that instability could cause a nuclear Chernobyl or something like that. No, it can't. To detonate nuclear, the calibration at the atomic level is astronomical, right? That's what was so hard. So it's like, it has to be in a perfect world setting to detonate. Anyway.
I'd like to give a special shout out to Kelly down in the VIP section. Maybe she could come up and we could have a.
Oh boy, if Kelly's around, I'm sticking around. A healthy debates reunion.
Yes, reunion.
Why is she in the shut the fuck up section? She should be up here. The speak the fuck up section.
Well, I think only maybe Roger has the power to convince her to come.
Kelly, come and say hi.
Maybe finally we'll have peace in the Middle East, and we'll see the world's greatest cities being built in Iran because it's a free country once more. Hopefully, that will truly be the outcome, and finally the dictatorial regime that's afflicted Iran goes away. So, to Marvin's point, hopefully that's the end thing, right? That's what is in everybody's heart, as we're thinking about it, Iran wants to be a free country. Maybe we can see something better in that region. So hopefully that's the future we get, right? But still yet to be seen. Today is Monday. The markets open on Monday. That's when we'll know what's really up, right?
Hey,
in order to see that free that you're talking about, in order to see that, I guess you got to see that formation of U.S. bombing aircraft that was so badass looking flying in that it's either terrifying to some people. I bet there's a lot of people in Iran that are relieved, that were happy to see those planes fly over. I don't know if it's going to do anything or if it's going to fix it, but they must feel some hope at this point because the Iranian people are great people.
Thank you for that. Marvin, are you there? I have a question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
Marvin.
Yeah.
So can I just say one single sentence as Iranian?
Okay, listen, bro. You hear me talk? I know you hear my voice. I have a very thick Brooklyn accent. So, Marvin, the question I have for you, do you think, where does Russia and China sit on something like this?
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up. Because again, this is the complexity of the entire region, right? And this was not done. The date that was picked was not kind of happenstance, right? The timing of this, trust me, was juxtaposed against the current situation with Russia and the Spider's Web mission that occurred, the current fighting in Ukraine, the supply chain with China, right? All of these things were taken into consideration as to why now. And America and Israel and the Five Eyes are all in the knowing that, okay, here are the pieces of the chess moves that are happening right now, and that intelligence is being shared because they're, at this point now, what happened today has a global impact. And it puts the Five Eyes into a position of high alert to observe what is going on and to be at the ready in case they need to move to, level 2, level 3, level 4 type of thing.
I'm curious, Marvin, what do you think is going to be the next step?
Well, the specific next step is, will Iran take a meeting? And will they, I mean, Trump said it beautifully, right? I don't know how many days they were given, like 30 or 60 days to have a meeting, or 60 days, right, to agree to something. And it was like on the last day, they said, oh, well, let's talk.
Day 61. It was day 61.
Right. Okay.
You haven't paid your bill. Okay, get the fuck out of here.
Right. And this is the issue, right? And I was doing it in the room right now. Like, look, I'm not going to fuck around. I don't have time. You want to have a straight conversation? Then answer the question. I'll answer the question. You want to fuck around? Great. Go fuck around. Go somewhere else. And that's what Trump did. And so I have to give him credit. Right? But I also think that he didn't do it because it was opportunistically occurring. He did it because he wanted them to be in a situation where he could take advantage of it. Because the marketing of the decision is extremely important for Trump's future. He was looking.
I'm seeing as well, Marv. He was
looking for a fight.
Trump is delivering upon his promises. Okay, here's 60 days. You got 60 days. Day 61 came around. Bang. Okay, these are the consequences. Okay, we're not going to stuff around. Whereas a lot of the rhetoric that you're hearing from the IRGC, please don't.